Welcome to our guru meeting. You know how like get ready meetings are like GRWM, the groom. So today we're gonna be talking about astrology because we're using
this beautiful
zodiac palette. It was in my last video. I'm never gonna stop talking about it, so get used to it. So instead, we're just gonna be getting ready for the day.
Yeah, we're going into town.
Yes, and we're gonna talk about astrology while we do it.
And I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go in order of the signs because they're in order in this palette, so we know. And kind of talk about like our opinions on the signs and like
what we think
about them, like what our experiences have been with them. Once you really dive into it, it makes so much more sense.
There's some parts that like make no absolute sense, and it's kind of like this could be for anybody. So let's start off with
Aries.
The Aries. Aries are definitely very fiery. They're aggressive. They're very. Most Aries, I can see they connecting into like indigo children. Very.
Yeah. So with Aries, for me, my opinion on them is like, I really admire how determined they are to win and how determined they are to be the best. But it gets frustrating because they won't stop at anything to do that. Like nothing can stop them from doing what they want to do because they get so aggressive about it and they can become like so rude because all they want to do is win.
They just want to be on top. It's very fire sign. They can have like really good senses of humor. They're just very out there, and like I think you really have to have like a tolerance for that, and you have to kind of be out there yourself, or else you're not going to understand it.
Like at least with Aries, there's only certain signs that can really work with them because they're a lot.
They're not very emotional signs. They're like
just straight up.
They
can be so rude. Like that's one thing I just don't like about Aries is how rude and mean they can be. Because nothing stops them. They don't care.
The Taurus.
In my opinion, there's nothing very crazy standoutish about a Taurus. They're just and I hate to like use this word, but I feel like they're pretty much kind of like the normal sign out of everyone, you know?
They're like, very average, and they're like very.
And don't take that the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like if you're a Taurus, like you're great. They love food. They're homebodies. They like to be inside. They like to be comfortable, which I totally understand. Gemini's next.
Alright, our sign, we're crazy.
Yeah.
We're wild children. We're very, I think like it's just, I don't even know how to explain our own sign without,
I don't want to be like biased, but like not
we're
just,
a great sign.
Take it in this way. I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about like Maya and like the other Geminis in my life. Like,
yeah.
I love how well they listen, like how well they communicate. Like, when me and Maya have a conversation, we will have a conversation for hours and not get bored.
We have so much to say. And the more we talk, the more we think about what other things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk to a Gemini, get ready for conversations that will last hours because we will not shut the hell up.
A lot of people call us two-faced. I wouldn't say two-faced. I'd say that we get distracted.
I don't think we're two-faced. I just feel like we're definitely just multiple personalities, and it just depends on when you catch us, and whatever the situation is, our personality is going to be different because we're going to have a different opinion and perspective on it.
I can see how that would frustrate people. Only certain signs can bring out a Gemini's like true inner personality.
The Cancer.
I love Cancers.
Cancers it's just
so
amazing
sweet.
because they're very, very lovable. They have very big hearts. They have so much passion for taking care of others and loving others and sharing their love with people. Like they're very love-oriented.
Well, at least with the Cancers in my life, one thing I've noticed that they're not very open, and I think that's because they're like, I guess it depends on the person, but I think a lot of Cancers, they don't necessarily put themselves out there because of the fact that they're worried of judgment, like they're scared of judgment.
They don't open about how they truly feel. They always want to have this face on of I'm always happy. I love everything. They don't ever want to open up and be they're going through a hard time. They don't want to talk about it. They're very closed off signs, but they're very lovable because you feel like a better person around them.
One thing I've noticed about all the Cancers I've been around is I've always felt loved around them, and they always make you feel like you have worth, I guess. I've noticed that they can sometimes be a little timid, standoffish, which so this is what it is. When you first meet a Cancer, most likely, unless they've got something else in their chart, in their rising sign, they're very standoffish around you and they're very skeptical around you. Not because they don't like you, it's more because they don't know how to act around you yet. They don't know what to say to make you happy.
Like, just like a disclaimer, this isn't just about like, because if you're a Cancer and you're like, well, I'm not really like that, then okay, like you don't have
Check
to be
your
that way.
birth chart.
Like, check your birth chart, because chances are your rising or moon sign is probably conflicting with the way you act, the way you communicate, like, because you're not 100% Cancer.
Where the planets were, like at the time you were born in the sky, that they're usually in a sign, and then that kind of depicts how you act in that certain like place in your life. That's why people don't really understand astrology, is because they don't understand that there's all these different signs in your birth chart.
Leos.
Just Leos.
Just a Leo. Like, they're great. They can be great, but it's just like they're known for being self-centered and just stubborn,
cocky,
stubborn.
But at the same time, as I personally love like how self-confident they are, and I think that's a life lesson that everyone can learn from a Leo. Is like, just put yourself out there, just like be confident in yourself and you'll be happy.
They don't adapt to change. They don't like change. They like everything kind of stay the same, which I get that can be a good thing, but sometimes it's just like, it's frustrating with Geminis where we change every day. It's like, it's hard for
them to really, like, know what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's why I don't really think Geminis and Leos are romantically compatible, just because of how they don't like change and Geminis thrive off change.
Next is Virgos. Oh, Virgos. I admire Virgos because I'm a Gemini and I can't get my life together. But Virgos always have their life together.
And they're very organized. Most Virgos are very kind of neat freaks. I've noticed that extremely. Yes. They need patterns, they need a routine.
It's shown throughout their work, like especially in like school or work, like they're always the student that's excelling. The person you're working with that's excelling, that's always at the top. Like, they're just so good, they're smart, they're organized, so organized, they're perfectionists. And it's like, that's something I really admire about a Virgo, is the fact that I know I'll never be as organized as a Virgo. If it's to do with business or school or anything that's like a formal sort of thing, take advice from a Virgo, because they know what they're talking about.
Libras.
I love Libras.
Libras are amazing. They are they're
air signs too, which is why we like them, because we're air signs.
Also, Libras are just so, like, they're passionate. They, again, are kind of like Cancers in the regard of they love a lot of people, they're open, and
But they don't show it like a Cancer. That's the thing. They show it in more of a...
It's like once you
It's a less of a sensitive way. It's more of a... Like, my opinion on Libras is they're just... The way they show it is they're just so adaptable. They can work with any person, any sign, like...
They love to talk to anybody. They will talk to anybody.
They're very flirty.
Very flirty. They always like to keep things balanced. They don't like conflict.
One thing about Libras that they can mainly work on is indecisiveness. They're crazy indecisive. Like, they never know what they want. It comes to them like being flirty. They don't mean to, but they lead people on because they're so indecisive, and people think that they actually are into them when really they're just using their flirty personality to their advantage, and then they're like, oh wait, like I don't actually want this person. And
Exactly.
And they always take in two sides of a story and make sure everyone's getting a fair shot of what they're trying to say. Scorpio.
The sign.
I love Scorpios.
They're great.
They're awesome.
They're a sign that
they get a bad rap.
They do.
But they're awesome.
A very creepy vibe to them.
They have a very dark sense of humor. Their sense of humor is just quite dark, and it's hilarious.
The friend that you can tolerate for like a couple hours. They're like us in the way of they're very outgoing. They express how they feel no matter what.
They're so outgoing. All the Scorpios matters.
They don't have filters. They do not have filters.
Yeah, that is one thing the Scorpios need to work on. They will just say what they're thinking in that second. Be prepared when you're hanging out with a Scorpio. Like,
they're going to tell you how they really feel. Like, if you would ask them like, how do I look in this outfit, they would be honest and be like, terrible, you look ugly.
Scorpio isn't, so Sagittarius is the honest one. Scorpio is the one that just doesn't have a filter. Like, they're just gonna say what they're thinking.
It's like when you're in a situation where you're really sad about something and all you want to hear is just like reinforcement. Mm-hmm. Don't go to a Scorpio for that, because they're gonna tell you how it is, and like that's what you don't need at the moment. Like, what you need is just like someone to be like, it's gonna be okay.
Sagittarius.
They're outgoing as frick.
My rising sign is Sagittarius, which means people usually see me as a Sagittarius. Sagittarius and Gemini also do have a lot in common, which makes a lot of sense. My view on Sagittarius is that I love how funny they are. They are the funniest sign. Always know what to say and make you laugh.
Definitely.
Class clown, like when I think of class clown, it's such they are brutally honest, like brutally honest, and it's just sometimes like what they say is rude, but like in their mind they're just being honest, and they think that that's what
They're helping.
Yeah, not committers, because they're very fast paced. They love to travel. Just very fast paced people who thrive off of attention, not necessarily in a bad way, but they thrive off of like being the class clown, being funny, people laughing at their jokes, that sort of thing. Capricorns. They're sensitive, but they won't show it. They'll get offended by something, but they won't show it as like being sad. They'll show it as like being rude.
They're kind of like afraid to show their real emotion, but they have so many real emotions.
Another thing with Capricorns, they're very driven. They're just so driven, like, whether it comes to sports or business, they're almost like a Virgo in that sense. Just and Aries, just like very determined, like to be the best almost. And they're usually very good with money because they know how to handle their money. And they know what's best in like today's society. Like they know what to do. They know how to work the society. They know how to work the business. Like that's just how it goes with them.
Aquarius.
But I've heard that they can sometimes come off like they're almost trying to be weird, to like be like cute sort of thing, like, and they're activists, like they're just like constantly participating in protests and saving the earth, animals, like they're just always going to like make the world a better place.
They're busy sign, I think. They try to keep themselves busy, whether it's with sports, school. They're usually very intelligent people. They're very smart.
Intelligent. Air signs are usually just very intelligent.
Aquarius, like every other human being, there's times where like they want to like just take a nap or relax, but like most of the time they're very like, if they're not doing something,
they
it's
have to
like
do something to make them feel like they're doing something good in the world. Like they have to feel like they're being
participating in the world, no matter what
making
they're
a
doing.
change, which is great. I love that. They just want you to agree with what they're doing. They just want you to think that they're doing the right thing.
True.
And they can almost come off as like rude or snarky because you don't agree with what they're doing necessarily.
They're also not a very spontaneous sign. They do like order, and they do like things to kind of stick to a routine. They're very they're like Virgos in that sense.
And like we said before, like it's different for every person. Like you may be Aquarius, but then have Pisces or Gemini as your moon, and then you're like, well, no, I'm a very spontaneous person.
Basically, what I believe is that your sun sign is just the sign that you were born as.
And it is like, it's a very big part of you, but it doesn't mean it's all of you. Last sign, Pisces. My personal favorite, and no, I'm not being biased even though it's my moon sign.
Pisces
are
are
just so out of this world, in their own world, dreamy, like
very
just
emotional.
Believe the unbelievable. Water sign, so they're very flowy, like, you know, just like go with the flow, that sort of person. But they're just so sensitive, and that's one thing I don't like about Pisces. My favorite thing about Pisces is that they are so open-minded that they can believe anything. But yeah, the emotional, sensitive side. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's annoying. It's like, come on, like you really have to cry about that. No.
How to make everything seem to end of the world.
Usually, they can usually be pretty quiet, just because they're like Geminis. Their minds are going like 110 miles per hour because they're thinking about all these crazy, like, unimaginable things.
And Pisces can be very introverted. They're very quiet. They keep to themselves because they understand that like they kind of do have a wild mind, and sharing their wild mind can sometimes other signs or other people are like
you're crazy, like don't talk to me. Like,
you good, fam?
A lot of Pisces are musicians or poets or artists because like they're just so creative and they can believe anything, and that reflects on their work.
Okay.
It's a long video.
It's a long video. I hope you enjoyed our little astrology lessons, talking about the signs, talking about what's up, you know?
Subscribe to Maya. She's a gem. She's funny.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to give it a big
like, thumbs
up, you know? And I'll see you guys later. Peace and out.
Peace and love, my friends.
Oh!